Hello and welcome back to Sam and Ham. This is Ham, and it's time for more Homebrew review. Today we're going to be looking at a Cleric subclass, the Sky Domain. This one comes to us courtesy of the DnD Wiki. You guys may have seen our other video talking about the DnD Wiki, talking about how it's got low quality control. And that's still probably fair, but that's not to say that there isn't a diamond in the rough, or that all of their content is bad. So I feel like they were worth another look, and just to see if we could find something cool. And I think this one's got some potential. So to start us off, they start off with some flavor text at the top of the screen, giving a little bit of background about what kind of gods you might worship, or just a little bit of lore about what you can use for your Sky Domain Cleric, which I think is kind of nice. They talk about Aarakocras and stuff. Definitely some nice background, because I wouldn't have known any of those off the top of my head. Then it dives into their domain spells, and they sure are wind and sky related. I will give them that. You get Featherfall, Zephyr Strike, Gust of Wind, Sky Right, Fly, Gaseous Form, Freedom of Movement, Storm Sphere, Conjure Elemental, Air Only, and Control Winds. They all seem very nice. The only one here that I don't think is all that nice is surprisingly Fly. And you'll see why that is when we get to some of their later abilities. Hint, hint, it might be because they get a fly speed from some stuff, but we'll get to that. Their first ability is Cloud Watcher. You have advantage on perception checks that rely on sight. In conditions of clear visibility, you can make out details, even extremely distant creatures and objects as small as 2 feet across. The only thing I can think to criticize about this ability is that I think I should probably give you like a maximum distance, kind of like the Totem Barbarian Eagle ability does at level 6. Otherwise, that's kind of cool. Just nice fluff. Their other ability they get at level 1 is called Updraft. Whenever a ranged attack is made against a creature within 15 feet of you, you can use your reaction to oppose disadvantage on the attack roll and any other ranged attack that travels into that area until the start of your next turn. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier before you have to take a long rest. That's kind of cool. Kind of like a poor man's catch arrows if you don't got a monk in the party. To my knowledge, this kind of feature hasn't been done before in 5th edition from what I've seen. So, yeah, props to the creator. This one's definitely pretty creative. I don't see it coming up a ton. I mean, it depends how often your DM throws archers at you. It is definitely one of those abilities where it's going to be really awesome in, like, one fight and then just garbage in most, you know? But plus side, it does say ranged attack, not necessarily a missile. So this can also still help with like spell attacks and stuff, like Guiding Bolt, which is kind of nice. At second level, they get Channel Divinity Guiding Draft. So this is obviously the Channel Divinity option they get, like all clerics do. And it says, as an action, you can choose a creature you can see within 30 feet of you. All ranged attack rolls against that creature have advantage until the end of your next turn. That's okay. I really think this one's actually on the weak side. Personally, if it was me, I'd say that can be done as a bonus action. Because unless you have like multiple archers in the party, I don't see you getting a whole lot of action out of this one. I mean, in the absolute worst case scenario, it does last until the end of your next turn, so at least you'd be able to get something out of it, but at that rate, it's just bad True Strike, you know? So I guess this one depends how useful you have a lot of archers. Personally, if I was having somebody play as this domain, I'd let them do it as a bonus action. And if that does end up too strong, maybe have it end at the start of the cleric's next turn. That way you get to buff the cleric one round and then, you know, all the way next through. But as it is, it's fine. I don't think it's great. At level 6, they get Saint of the Sky. You can fly. You can fly. It's a bonus action to activate, and then you get, you know, wings, winds, boots, you know, whatever you want, you can fly. It's got a speed of 30 feet. You can't use it when you're underground, indoors, or wearing heavy armor. And then it lasts until you're incapacitated, killed, or dismiss it yourself. And my first thought was that this was a little too busted, because even Tempest Cleric, you know, known as one of the strongest clerics, only gets to do it for a few minutes a day. And this one's permanent, which is, you know, Then I thought about it a little bit more. I don't think it's busted. I don't think it's too strong. Because it's specifically limited to while you're outside. Which, yeah, for some campaigns, that's going to be very good. However, the fact that you can't use it in a dungeon, in a cave, in a house, in a church, most of the places you're going to be doing a lot of fighting, this ability is going to kind of be, I mean, good when you can see the sky, which is flavorful. I wouldn't change that because it does very much fit the flavor of the class, so it's fine. And this is kind of why I was saying the fly spell is a little, meh. At first I was going to say, why do you even get the fly spell when you get a flight speed? But I guess that is That is why you get to fly when you're underground if you use a spell slot. So that makes sense. Honestly, if it didn't have that limitation on being outdoors, then I would have said you could get rid of the fly spell, but then you can't make your allies fly. It's a whole thing. So honestly, I think this is a relatively novel way of going about it. I kind of like it. Level 8, they get Divine Strike, which with Tasha's, that changes to the updated version where it can work on cantrips, or that one. Obviously, if you compare it to the old versions, Divine Strike only works on weapons, but just let them use the Tasha's version. Either way, I think Divine Strike is better than Potent Spellcasting, especially with this kind of a subclass. And their last ability is Skydive. You get this at 17th level, so again, keep in mind, same level, you can get 9th level spells. You can cast Teleport once per long rest. You appear 5 feet above the destination, but it has one special qualification. If it has an unobscured line of sight to the sky, the spell is always on target. Which is cool. I'll show it on screen now how the table works about how you can, not teleport where you want to be. And the idea that it's open to the sky, you can just fly there, essentially, very quickly, really. That's cool. I like that. And yes, just getting teleport is strong, but it's not strong in combat, like a lot of Cleric capstones are. So it's definitely a little bit off, but I like it. I think added utility is nice. Plus, I'm just happy when anybody can encroach on a wizard at max level. So this, I think, helps even the gap just a bit. But yeah, that's it. Simple subclass. I mean, clerics don't have a ton of features, so they are what they are. But yeah, I really like this subclass. It really feels evocative of like an archer who flies around and shoots people kind of stuff. I think that's a pretty cool image. Again, I think the guiding draft is a little weak. But otherwise, I think this subclass is just fine. I'd definitely give it a pass. I'd love to see it under like further extensive testing to test the guiding draft, but otherwise I don't see any problems. But I'd love to hear your opinions down in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.